Siemens. PM at Siemens is the methodology Siemens is using everywhere, worldwide, in order to deliver projects. PM at Siemens is using 42 best practices. What you should do and what you should not do. That's the meaning of best practices. Proven practices or best practices. Be careful. Probably the best practices do not apply everywhere. One good practice that you can use in one scenario, probably you cannot use it on another scenario. So, MSF is using 5 best practices. Which is the first one? Use small, multidisciplinary teams. When you hear small, how many team members? Actually, the maximum is 10. Right, 5 or 6 is actually MSF says 6. Enable team members to work on the same location. This is called co-location. This is the opposite of virtual teams. Virtual teams means that the people are around the planet. Co-location means that everyone is on the same room. Many people call the co-location war room. You know, from Winston Churchill, Second World War. Define and design a solution with all roles represented. Who should design the solution? Many people say that the architect should do. Everybody should help design the solution. Probably the architect has got the more work to do, but everybody should work. Motivated teams are more effective. And the 5th one is get specific early. What's the meaning of get specific early? Get the requirements from the customer very, very early. Otherwise, the failure is in your pocket. That's life. If you don't get, you disagree, right? Sorry? All right. No. Actually, I should describe the roles first. MSF describes 6 specific roles. And he says, when you design the solution, all these 6 roles must be represented. You will see it in a minute. Right. This one is one of the most important things. Many people worldwide say that we cannot get the requirements early. So we start the project, and then the customer changes what? The scope. Yes or no? How we solve it? It's very easy. When you get the requirements from the customer, make him to sign the requirements. So when he changes it, you charge him for this. Have you ever asked an architect how they build buildings? You cannot change the specifications of a building when you have designed the building. If you change the specifications of the building, it costs you a lot of money to do it. That's the mistake we do in information technology. Because when you talk to engineers and architects, they say, we cannot understand you. What do you mean they changed the scope of the project? What's the meaning of it? The architects say that the customer has signed the plans, the blueprints. So if he changes the blueprints, he's going to pay again. So let's look at the MSF team. You know it, huh? Look at the titles. Communications manager, marketing manager, logistics manager, a lot of managers, and only one in the whole. Who knows this law? The law of diminishing returns. What's the meaning of the law of diminishing returns? Suppose that you want to deliver to your customer 100 reports. And you know that every report takes 1 day. So if you have 1 developer, how many days you need to deliver the reports? 100. If you have 2 developers, 50 days. If you have 100 developers, yes, this doesn't work. What's the meaning of the law of diminishing returns? If you go to Wikipedia and look for the term, it says the more you put in the process, the less you get out of it. So be careful. Because many people say, all right, I have 2 developers, I'm going to use 4 in order to deliver the project on the 50% of the time. No, it doesn't work. Because of the law of diminishing returns. Have a look on these symptoms and tell me who is using this. It doesn't meet our expectations, it's too late and over budget, it is not what we needed, it's too difficult to use, it doesn't work in our environment, it's unpredictable. Who is saying these things? The customer all the time, yes. What are the programmers are saying? What you are saying? We couldn't get the information in order to do our work. We could not understand clearly what we were supposed to do. We were unaware of how the work of other team members affected our work. So everybody is complaining. Oops. All right. The first symptom is the project was late. The answer is deliver to project constraints. Second one, what we built really isn't what we needed. Build to specifications. Take the specifications from the customer and deliver according to the specifications. This thing is unpredictable. This means that you have a lot of bugs. A release with all issues identified. We cannot get it to operate in our environment. Deploy smoothly and prepare well for ongoing operations. Have you heard the story about Terminal 5 in London? Terminal 5? What happened in London, in Terminal 5? It was collapsed the first day of the operation in Heathrow Airport. They built a fifth terminal, which was the best terminal on the planet. What happened the first day of the operation? It collapsed. Why? Not because of luggages. Actually, the problem was they didn't think of training people on how to use the new terminal. So, yes, and when the people of British Airways tried to use the new terminal, they couldn't operate it. And the whole terminal collapsed. Not for 1 day, for 2 weeks, I think. They lost millions of dollars, of pounds, whatever you want. We cannot get it to operate in our environment. All right, this was the deploy smoothly. It was too difficult to use. The answer. All right, let me ask you something. Who designs the user interface? Who? The developer. Yes? Another one? Who says the developer? All right, keep it. It was too difficult to use. The answer is enhance user effectiveness. It doesn't meet our expectations, right? Satisfy customers, and we needed information. It's not shared timely, right? Actually, this means we didn't get the information we wanted. It says establish good communication with the customer and try to get the information early. All right. This is MSF version 3. In MSF version 3, there are 6 roles described. 6. Actually, we call them 6 hats. I told you it's the only framework or methodology that describes the team member functions. All methodologies describe only one person. Who is the one person? Project manager, yes. They say nothing about the remaining of the team. What MSF is saying, on the team you must have developers. What the developers do? They deliver to the specifications. Right, you must have testers. What do testers do? Right, they treat quality. Actually, you release only after identifying and addressing all issues. You must have a role called product management on the left. Who is the product management role? Probably you call it account manager. Is the guy who is talking where? To the customer. He talks to the customer. User experience. Who designs the interface? Not the developer. Never. The interface should be designed by a specific role called user experience. Enhance user experience. Then, we have another role which was called logistics, which now it's called release management.